But if you had seen me that October night, Friday night in October 1967, the night I fell in love, you would have, I hope it gets better, you would have seen me as a skinny 18-year-old, it was a long time ago, entering a popular college night spot in White Plains, New York, the Fore and Aft. Have you ever been in a college night spot that was too crowded, too smoky, too noisy? That was the Fore and Aft, and I just had my hand stamped and was going to the bar, and I saw her standing by the dance floor. Her glasses were perched on the top of her head, long auburn hair, beautiful smile, and I heard a voice in my head clearly say, "That's the girl you're going to marry." Now, I don't usually listen to the voices in my head, and I think that's good advice for us all. But that night I figured, well, if I'm going to marry her, I guess I should ask her to dance. So I started weaving my way through the crowd, walking toward her, and thinking, this is crazy. And not because of the voice in my head, but because she was way out of my league, and based on a long, sad personal history, I assumed I was going to get shut down. So I asked her before, "Hi, my name is Tony. Would you like to dance?" I said, "Hi, Tony, I'm Chris. I'd love to dance." And I took her hand for the first time, and we made our way to the dance floor. Now, it was a crowded night spot, and this dance floor was really crowded, and there were twice as many feet as people on this dance floor. And Chris still had the glasses on the top of her head, and was there for just a few seconds, and somebody bumped her, and the glasses tumbled to the floor. I said, "Oh man, they're gonna get trampled." And I looked down, and then I bent down, and I saw a flash, something shiny, and I reached down, and I got the glasses, and miracle, they were unscathed. So I handed her the glasses, and we decided to get off of the dance floor and go someplace where we could talk. So got a table and we sat down and talked, and oh man, she was so easy to talk to. We could talk about anything. We talked about books and films and our families and courses we were taking in college and just all sorts of great things. She was telling me about her summer job in a nursing home and how she was really impressed with doctors and she was telling me about her father who was a doctor and she said, someday I'm going to marry a doctor. I looked at her and said, "You're not going to marry a doctor." And clearly she hadn't heard the voice in my head, so I took that opportunity to bring her up to speed on our future together. And I said, "You're not going to marry a doctor." And she laughed. And I said, No, you don't understand, Chris, I'm serious. You're not going to marry a doctor because I have no intention to go into medical school. And she laughed again. And I said, "No, I'm serious, I love you." That may have been jumping the relationship just a wee bit. I love you, and I'm going to marry you. And she looked at me, and she had a surprisingly strong reaction. She said, "Well, you seem like a nice guy, Tony, but I think I'm going to go join my friends again." and she got up to leave, and I said, but Chris, don't you believe in love at first sight?" Apparently not. A few weeks later, I was in the Army, and I was at Fort Polk, Louisiana, getting ready, basically, to go to Vietnam. And I decided I was going to write to Grace. But I had her name, her full name, and the name of her town in New Jersey, but no address. Another miracle, she got the letter. Another miracle, she wrote back. And we started writing back and forth the whole time I was down in Louisiana. And then I would call her from Louisiana. Maybe once a week I'd get away and I'd call her. And our phone calls we ended the same way all the time. I'd say, "Do you love me yet?" And she said, "Not yet. Not yet." But at least the question didn't annoy her as much as it I once did. And then when I came home on 30 days leave before going overseas, I went to see her at her college in upstate New York. And the last night before I had to go, we were in, I think it was Sofa City. There was all these sofas in the lounge. They called it Sofa City. And I was sitting there, and she handed me a book of poetry called Because I Love You. And she said, this book was given to me by Fritz, a woman in a nursing home I took care of over the summer. And she said, hold on to this until you meet the man you love and give it to him. So, are you saying you love me? That's what you're saying? It's about time. I mean, I was the victim of love at first sight. Chris was the victim of love eventually. But love, we used to say that love will last a lifetime, but our love's going to last 2 lifetimes. Thank you.